name is Carley. Today I'm going to explain the tight hamstrings. So an increased anterior pelvic tilt, which could be putting a lot of pressure on your lower back. If you're experiencing some back pain, then this may be because your hip flexors are tight. There could be a couple things going on. So I'm going to start this video off with a self-test to see if you have tight hip flexors. So we're going to start by laying down on the ground. And we're going to just test out our hip flexors. So we'll review pelvic tilts in a second. So just lay on the ground for a minute here. And when you do this, go ahead and straighten out your legs. I want you to see if you have a big old gap where your back should meet the ground. Okay, so laying with your legs straight, you might, if you have very, very tight hip flexors, you might actually feel this stretch here right now, just having your legs straight and laying on the hard ground. But maybe not. Maybe you just reach behind you and feel that there's this big gap in your lower back. Now I want you to go ahead and just bring your heels to your tush and try to think if that has decreased the pain. So is that taking it away? Has that closed the gap in your lower back? Does that feel a little bit better? So if that's the case, bringing your knees up actually helps alleviate some of the pain in the lower back, and it also helps alleviate some of the stretch and the pain you might have been feeling in the hip flexors. Then it's a clear sign that you do have tight hip flexors. So I'm going to show you two stretches and then two strengthening exercises to help fix this problem. So the first one is going to be a runner's lunge or lizard pose. Lizard pose and runner's lunge, we're talking yoga now. This is my game. So get into a lunge position, and we're actually just going to drop that back knee down to the ground. You can always do this with a mat if that feels good for you. And then in this position, you're just going to press your hips forward, and you can always raise one arm up and actually sink into the side to stretch out the psoas muscle. That also increases the stretch. Feels really good. All right, so if you like that, that feels good, that's a good stretch for you, stay there. If you need more of a stretch, you can always come down into lizard pose. So you can use a block here or just lower down onto your elbows, but it's just going to help increase the stretch and open up the hips so you can lower onto your elbows, taking your toe out to the side a little bit here. I'll show the other leg so you can see this position a little bit better. Okay, so I'm in that runner's lunge position, and then I'm just going to go ahead and take my toes out to the side and make space for my body to come down in here. And now if you don't have the flexibility to do this, that's okay, just stay with runner's lunge. But then slowly lower down here into this position. And it's really great stretch to open up the hips. If you can even keep a straight back, that's even better. Keep your spine nice and long. I'm a little bit tight from all my walking I did yesterday. I get to see my own imbalances. Okay, and the second stretch is going to be a hamstring stretch. So you can do this in a kneeling position, like this is a half splits is what this is called in yoga, but I'm actually going to pull my toe back towards my shin, and then I'm going to take my hips and I'm pressing them back as I get into this stretch. This is really great stretch for the hamstrings. Wowza. And you can just feel that. If you want to make it harder, you can always lower down into this stretch to get a little deeper. And then make sure you're actually kicking your hips up towards the ceiling. So it's like I'm almost rounding with my hips. It's like I'm a bucket of water here, and I'm going to tilt my pelvis forward as if I'm tilting the water out onto the floor. And then you're going to feel an increased stretch in the back of the legs. Great, so that's our hamstring stretch, and another option for that to take some pressure off the back if you do have some back issues is to always just lay on your back so you have the support of the ground. You can use a towel or a band to help slowly work your leg closer and closer to your body. So this is a really safe position for a hamstring stretch if you do have any problems with your lower back. Maybe just take it to the ground then and grab a towel and start to work your leg closer and closer to your body, okay? So some exercises to start to strengthen that is going to be some back extensions. Back extensions are going to help correct this slouching thing. So a lot of times we're sitting in our cars, we're sitting at chairs, we're sitting on couches, and all these soft surfaces actually cause us to slouch more. And this starts to wear on our spine. So this is going to be something to reverse that. So lying on our belly, you're actually just going to squeeze the tush, and you're going to lift your upper body right up off the ground, and then you're going to lower back down. So eyes are going to keep looking down, squeezing the tush, lifting the arms, and you're going to feel the muscles all the way down the spine are going to activate to lift you up, and then lower back down. And then I'm going to do it one more time just to show you. Lifting up, squeezing, lifting the legs up off the ground, arms up off the ground, and then lowering back down. So reps of 10, 3 times a day is a good place to start. And then our last exercise for tight hip flexors. I have a brain fart. What's the last one I'm talking about? All right, guys. The last exercise is going to be a bridge with a pelvic tilt. So what we're going to do is we're going to press our hips up towards the sky, and then I'm going to pull my pelvis under. So let me show you this first, the pelvic tilt. Just in this lying position, do you see this difference here? As I activate my core and I pull my pelvis under, I curl my tailbone under myself like that. So get in this position, probably your normal position if you have tight hip flexors, where your back is lifting up the ground. Now, I want you to pull your belly button into the ground. So tuck and pull, okay? Feel that position? I just want you to bridge up, and I want you to do a pelvic tilt in your bridge. So press your hips up towards the ceiling first, driving down through the heels, and then exaggerate that tilt, okay? So press up, hold up, and then tilt. Tilt. Good. Release and tilt. Now, if that's a little tricky for you to do, you can always just do bridges first and then practice your tilts separate. It's up to you. So I'm just bridging here. Do one more bridge, pressing your hips up, and then I'm just going to do the pelvic tilts here. So here's my exaggerated curve. This is from tight hip flexors, and then I'm just going to tighten and then feel that pelvic tilt, feel that difference, hold my tummy in, and then release. And then I'm going to practice again. So if you want to do those 2 exercises separate, you're welcome to do that. We have the test, the stretches, the test to see if you have tight hip flexors, the stretches that you should do to follow it, and then some correctional exercises. That's what I would recommend you to do every single day. These things can be added into your morning routine and can make a huge difference in your posture and start to alleviate your lower back pain. Thanks for checking in. We'll see you again.